Hi, I'm Molly.
And I'm Jamie, and this is our From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast. As the owners of Hired Hand website software, we've been developing websites and creating internet marketing strategies for livestock breeders for the past 10 years.
The majority of our customers are involved in the breeding of registered animals, such as Texas Longhorns, Highland cattle, horses, and white-tailed deer, where the pedigrees are very important. The From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast examines many of the differences in raising pedigreed livestock for maximum profit. Join us and learn what we're covering today.
Today we're here with a couple of people to talk about the Horn Showcase, which is coming up here shortly in October. Let's go ahead and we'll bring him in. Well, thanks, Nik, for joining us today to talk about the Horn Showcase this year. Do you want to maybe introduce yourself a little bit and, give a backstory of your ranch, how you got involved, that type of thing?
Sure. Nik Nikodym with Commander's Place Longhorns, hired hand customer since the very beginning. I don't know who your first customer was, but we're probably in the top dozen or so early converts. Anyway, I've been doing the Longhorn thing for, 15-ish years plus. I don't want to bore you with my details, but I was on the board of directors for a while. Retired military, 36 years of active duty, and my wife has let me retire about this long ago, and got involved with this year's Horn Showcase as a member of the committee, just because I want to give back, and this breed has done so much for me and my family, and wherever I can help, I try to. Next question.
All right. Can you give everybody the sale date and the location this year?
Sure. It's in Wichita Falls, Texas, which is a neat little town, and we'll talk about more about that later if you'd like. But Wednesday, October 12th is cattle need to start showing up between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. All cattle must be in place by 9 p.m. And then Thursday, October 13th, we've got, measurement begins. We've got some seminars, including one from Hired Hand, and that kind of thing. Bull Alley reception, then Bull Alley events on Thursday. And Friday, October 14th, we've got the Futurity, and then the Bred and Owned Heifer Sale is a Friday night. And then Saturday, we've got our Horn Showcase sale, which is really going to be a great event. I think I'm really happy with this year's sale. Of course, I'm the sale chairman, so gosh, I hope I'm happy. But I really think that between the heifer sale and the Saturday sale, we're going to have a really nice sale.
Well, good. So for those people who haven't been to the Horn Showcase before, you want to explain Bull Alley a little bit in more detail?
How do I explain Bull Alley? That's a great one. The probably the thing to remember about Bull Alley is you're going to see some of the best bulls in the industry today if you have the opportunity to come to Wichita Falls. And it'll be all week. So you can literally sit there and study these bulls and find hopefully find what you like, whether that be color, whether that be pick a trait or characteristic that intrigues you, and you can really find something you like about it. Now we say Bull Alley, and I've had some people say, "Whoa, walking up and down." We try and space the bulls out a little bit, so that you don't have industry leading bulls fighting to each other through the fence. That's not what anybody's looking for. But you are going to have an opportunity to see 14 bulls this year in Bull Alley. There are significant, I'm going to say savings opportunities, but really it's, as much as savings, it's really the significant opportunities to look at these bulls and buy semen on them. Many of them have heifer sex semen, as well as what the industry has coined as conventional semen available. And give me a second. Would you like a list of the bulls that are in Bull Alley today?
Sure.
Or this year?
Let's do it.
Let me, sorry, I'm going to mess around on my computer just a little bit here. We've got GF Buckwind, KDK Wildfire. Let me start over. We've got GF Buckwind with both conventional and heifer sex semen. We've got KDK Wildfire with conventional semen. We've got BR Mr. Right with both conventional and heifer sex semen. JH Rural Blackout with conventional semen. PCC Runaway Gray with heifer sexed and conventional semen. BR Crackerjack with heifer sex semen. Bashful with both types. Mr. Happy with both types of semen. Done stepping up with conventional semen. Warlock with both types. JR Rural Safari Sun with conventional. MC Hanging Tough with both conventional and sexed. And Tough Cowboy DC with conventional semen. And last but not least, we've got 50 Am with both heifer sexed and conventional semen.
It's a good list you got there.
Yeah, it should be fun. And I think, like I said, you know, particularly if you're a relatively new breeder and you're considering AI as a means to progress your herd, you know, you really have access to these, you know, high-end genetics, you know, that quite frankly, you know, you're only going to, most people are only going to get through artificial insemination, or at least that's the easiest way.
Right. And if people want to buy ahead of time before the Horn Showcase, I believe they can contact Phil Norwood, and he's keeping track of everybody who wants to buy semen ahead of time, I believe.
Yeah, that's an option, certainly. And, you know, I think the TLBAA office can either take your order as well. Okay. If you just want to contact the TLBAA office, that they'll be happy to take your order as well. Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, it should be a great event. And in addition to, you know, people being able to walk up and down, you know, the bulls are going to be measured, of course, and there is an event, you know, where they're going to be put under spotlights, and, you know, it's kind of rock star treatment, and you know, and that should be really, really fun. And that again is on Thursday evening rather. Bull Alley reception is at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. is the Bull Alley event itself. And if you haven't been to one or haven't seen one, it's kind of neat. You know, we play some loud music, and the bull walks in and talk a little bit about him, and you know, slap him on the butt and bring the next one in. You know, but it's a fun event, and you know, we try to make sure the people that bring these bulls to town, for lack of a better way to put it, get their money's worth. You know, it's a great question. You know, the whole sponsorship you know, the whole concept of sponsoring an event. You know, let me ramble about that for just half a second here. You know, it's truly the sponsors that make these things happen. You know, I mean, literally, you know, the amount of money raised through sponsorship allows these events really to take place. And without the sponsors, you know, it just, you know, these things shrivel and die, you know, because no organization can do it without sponsorship. So, you know, and I'm just going to read the list of sponsors. If you don't mind, it's going to take me a minute. We've got Circle Double C Ranch. We've got Brentwood Ranch, Carroll Ranch, 6CR Longhorns, McCarroll Ranch, TS Adcock Longhorns, Diamond L Ranch, R3 Hilltop Ranch, Sandhill Ranch, Cantera Cattle Company, Diamond B Cattle, Hagler Ranch, Hickory Creek, Commander's Place Longhorns, CR Ranches, JL Longhorns, Seiler Longhorns, Lucas Ranch, Jameson Flowers and Wichita Falls, and Bull Creek Longhorns, Glendenning Farms, Circle A Longhorns, KDK Longhorns, Circle Double C, R3 Hilltop, F3 Longhorns, 3J Longhorns, Pace Cattle Company, Tally Longhorns, Buxton Longhorns, Lonesome Pines Ranch, American Icon Longhorns, Lewis Oilers, Bad Boy Josh, and C2W Partners, which is a catering sponsorship. In addition to that, we just gained one new Longhorn sponsor, and that was, sorry, I missed them, is Longhorn 615, James and Julie Guthrie. So, again, I kind of purposely didn't put the levels on them because, $1,000 to me means a lot more than $1,000 might mean to some people on the planet. So I didn't necessarily talk about the levels of sponsorship, but with each different level of sponsorship that people get, I mean, literally, you can build an advertising campaign for a year through sponsorship of an event like this. And I think a lot of the names that you hear from time and time again that do sponsor events like this, I think that's the approach they take. With some of these higher level sponsorship packages, like I said, you can literally build a advertising campaign for a year through that. So that's what I've got with the sponsors this year. And again, I want to thank them personally and wish them all the success.
That's quite the list. That's great for you. What about if people have questions during the sale? What are some of the sales staff that they could call if they have questions or anything?
As far as like bidding,
just anybody that they can get a hold of, the back crew if they need to talk to them.
Tessa Wheeler is going to be our back crew this year. She's very well known, especially in Texas. She does an amazing job. So that is one thing that we're really looking forward to this year is Tessa doing the back crew. As far as like online bidding, that's going to be you, Jamie, all the way. And then as far as any catalog questions, you can ask the consigners themselves what their cow's looking for. You can ask us. We'll definitely reach out to any of them. Any of the committee crew will reach out to the consigners if they have any questions as far as, tip to tip or progeny or whatever's not listed or looks like it's missing. Just let us know and we'll definitely try to find out the data as best we can.
Can I just piggyback on that real quick? Of course, I'm the sale chairman this year, and I'm going to put my phone number out right now. It's 405-230-0848. And please do reach out. I mean, hopefully everyone's gotten their sale catalog. I know it went out in the September trails. I have mine. Thank you very much. Of course, the information is available online as well. But if particularly new breeders, if you do have questions about, an opportunity or whatever the case may be, please do reach out and we'd happily discuss whatever your concerns are, or whatever your questions are.
And then I'm looking here in the catalog. It looks like you have quite the list for haulers that are available.
Right. To me, I think haulers make an event. I mean, if as an example, last year, I think Kim and I sold a cow to a relatively new breeder in California. That's not going to happen without a hauler. So I think, I specifically went out and did get as many haulers as we could this year, identified early and in the magazine, and their numbers are in the catalog. If you have hauling questions, happy to answer them. And we do have certain haulers that are going north, south, east, and west. And I've kind of got that figured out a little bit. But I don't know that I'm going to need haulers to, pick a place, South Dakota. But if we do, I think we can figure something out.
So earlier, when we were talking about the schedule of events, we mentioned that there's seminars. Do you want to go more in depth in the seminars and let people know what time each of the seminars will be and maybe what the topic will be about?
Seminars is at 9:00. The TLBAA staff is going to do one on horns. That's always a great information session so that people can figure out how to register their cattle, transfer their cattle, you put in new ones or request DNA services. There's a lot of different things that we can do in horns that a lot of people don't. And so that's always a great session for people to jump on and learn how to do all this stuff themselves. And that way they don't have to rely on everyone answering their phones all the time. And then 10 a.m. is the hired hand Q&A. I'm sure, Jamie, you can talk a little bit more about what that one's going to be. 12:30 is Neogen. Jake Trout is going to be there. He's going to talk about the different DNA services, the beef quality services, and everything that Neogen offers as far as DNA testing. 2:00, Champion Genetics, Doug Walker. He is going to talk about, either doing AI work or having your bulls tested and semen frozen for straws and selling. And then at 3:30, Paragon Cattle Services, Amanda Sears. From what I understand, she does an amazing AI program, IVF program with cattle. And so I am very interested actually to listen to her.
Love what you're hearing? Be sure to check out our Pickup Truck Confessions. It's a video series where we hop in the truck or rental car and interview a variety of breeders about what drives their passion for their livestock, how they got started in the breed of their choice, marketing tips, and more. And now, back to the podcast.
A little bit earlier, Nik gave an introduction about himself. Do you want to introduce yourself to people? I guess we kind of forgot to do that earlier when you joined us.
That's all right. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Natalie Chaney, I'm out of North Carolina. Just joined the Horn Showcase committee this year. I run Diamond Seed Longhorns and travel a lot to the East Coast doing a lot of the fraternities. Not a huge farm, but we just kind of expanded up to West by God, Virginia. So we bought quite a bit of land up there. This Longhorn addiction has kind of taken over, and we went from having a small herd on 30 acres to buying a few hundred acres. And so we're expanding, not rapidly. We're trying to be picky and choosy, but we are getting there. So, but we've been hitting the fraternities on the East Coast for quite a few years now.
So what made you want to help out with the Horn Showcase this year?
Well, I try to just get more involved, especially into the Texas crowd, and try to get more East Coast people with a say into it. The Texas crowd is big, but I feel like on the East, there's a lot of us, and we're just kind of out there on our own, doing our own thing. And so I wanted to try to at least bring an East Coast voice to the Texas Longhorn Association and to the Horn Showcase itself. So it was an amazing opportunity, and I'm so glad that they were able to pick my application out and choose me. So I'm thankful for that.
So what are you both looking forward to the most about this event?
Bull Alley all the way. I love Bull Alley. That's my favorite part. Obviously, I'm running the fraternity, so I have to say that I'm more excited about that. But I do always love Bull Alley. It's my favorite thing at Horn Showcase to do.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just seeing old friends and meeting new people. I think whenever you get the Longhorn industry together, in any way, shape, or form, whether that's cherry blossom in the spring, or whether that's something in the deep heart South, deep in the heart of Texas, I think whenever you get folks together, good things happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing again old friends and meeting new people. But the sale's going to be great because I'm the sale chair. Yay. But no, I agree. Bull Alley is always fun, but it's going to be a great event.
Do you both remember the first time you attended Horn Showcase?
Can I go first? Do I remember the first time we consigned? I don't really remember the first time that we consigned a cow, or the cow's name or anything like that. I know that I was deployed. I think I was deployed when we just made the decision to, sell a cow, for lack of a better way to put it. And it put quite a bit of stress on my lovely bride, but it's always challenging to consign an animal, and if I can take a minute just to talk about that, if you don't mind, particularly in the TLBAA sales that we have every year. We've got the Horn Showcase sale. And then in January upcoming, we've got the Eddie Wood sale, which is always a great event too, as well. And these are organization sales, we try and get a little bit of something for everybody in these sales. Unlike whether it's Legends or the Legacy sale, I think I think that's kind of a different animal, for lack of a better way to put it. I guess it makes perfect sense, different kind of animal. But the reality of it is with these organizational sales, we try and make sure that there's a cow for everybody and in these sales. And I think we pulled it off in spades this year, and I'm looking forward to the Eddie Wood sale in January. And it's a great opportunity for members of the TLBAA to whether you're a new member or you've only been around a couple 5 years, or whatever the case may be, and hopefully we've got some first-time consigners this year. I don't know that I've scoured the list that well, and I would just ask members to think about it. Eddie Woods is coming around, and we're taking consignments for the Eddie Woods sale already, and this is an opportunity for you to market yourself, your program, and your cattle. So please pick out cattle that represent you and your program and your herd well, is my advice to you. I mean, there's an old saying, don't cull in public, and that's kind of what kind of applies here. When I ask you to pick a cow that represents you and your herd best, sometimes those hurt, and I understand and can appreciate that. But that's really what you need to be thinking about if you're going to be consigning to sales moving forward as part of your marketing strategy. You really need to make sure you're putting your best foot forward. Sorry, I rambled a little bit there, but that's my answer to your question, and I'm looking forward to the sale.
Natalie, what about you?
I actually have not consigned to a sale. East Coast is a pretty busy area, and I have a hard time keeping inventory of cows and steers and bulls and all of that. So I've never had extras to consign, but I would say that I do a lot of advertising in the catalogs, even though I don't consign, because it really highlights your program. And if people don't get something in a sale, or if they're just looking afterwards, I've gotten a lot of sales out of my private herd just from the advertising. So that's a huge part, is just highlighting your program, sponsoring. The earlier you sponsor and get an ad in, the more, social media advertising that the sales do for you. So get in first if there's an opportunity, and definitely have your ads done professionally, get pictures done, so that they really make your animals look the best. So that's a huge part of it. And like I said, I have never consigned, but I've gotten a lot of sales from just the advertisements itself.
Good. Do either of you have a favorite animal that has sold at a sale that maybe wasn't yours, that you were maybe hoping that you could get, but didn't quite work out? Or even one that that you bought at a sale?
That's a great question. Yeah. Go ahead, Natalie.
I mean, there's always favorites at every sale, it's just a matter of, pocket size, I suppose. My favorite cow, I think, that's ever sold at auction is Dun Lucky Dice. She was just amazing. I loved her. I loved her calves, as I said, I'm big in the fraternities, and there's no topping that cow to me. I mean, she was amazing. Of course, the, HR Rosette was awesome last weekend. She was gorgeous too, but I think Dun Lucky Dice remains my favorite cow ever to have been sold at an auction.
Yeah, Natalie, I too have little alligator arms. I can't quite reach all the way down to the bottom of my pocket to find out when it comes to buying cows at a sale. No, I'm just kidding. But of course, I think, whether it's the Texana Van Horns or the Casey Hershey's Kisses or animals like that are truly breed legends. When they become available, you really, you wish you could take advantage of the opportunities, and often financially that's not an option for Kim and I. I always like to say we make cows that Kim and I like, and we hope other people like them too. Because at the end of the day, there's always somebody with a bigger boat, as they say, and I just don't have the finances to buy some of these big animals. I'm stuck making them, but it is what it is.
Well, any last minute things that you want to mention about the Horn Showcase before I move on to the final question?
Ooh, I don't know what the final question is, but I'm going to ask. I want to ramble a little bit about this year's Horn Showcase, and specifically focus on last year's Horn Showcase. I think that last year's Horn Showcase there were I'm going to say some areas that were unexceptional, and I think if you look at last year's event holistically, from 10,000 foot view. Really, it boiled down to just logistics. I think the event venue was insufficient to support the event, and I know that there were some hardworking cowboys, and the Horn Showcase Committee itself worked their butts off last year to make it a good event, but they just could not, in my humble opinion, overcome the logistics of it. I mean, sales started late and things like that. I mean, it was just, some of us were involved last year, and you can appreciate what I'm saying. And we're not going to have any of that this year, I assure you. We've got an entire new back crew. Not that the Cowboys last year didn't work; they worked their asses off. And we know that this year's back crew has a reputation in the industry. And that's kind of why we went with that back crew. And this year's auctioneer is different. This year's auctioneer, Dan Harrington and Chase Basute, the talking head, are again, industry standards at this point. And there's a reason that they were chosen as well by the committee. So, again, last year's event, yeah, we had some hiccups and we had some zits. But I will tell you that, again, if you look at it holistically, last year's event, the problems that we encountered were basically due to logistics and the venue. And with this new venue, we're not going to have venue concerns. We're not going to be competing for space with rodeo type event that was going on next door last year, et cetera. So I think, moving forward, and particularly this year's event, it's a new day. And it's a new event, and that's really why I think I joined this year's committee, was to make sure that we didn't have, or I should say make sure, because who the heck am I? But to ensure, do my best part to make sure that this year's event is leaps and bounds better than previous years. And I'm so looking forward to this event. This is what gets me up in the morning.
Natalie, you have anything you want to add?
No, I mean, he pretty much had it on the head. We are really much looking forward to the event this year. We did take into account a lot of people's comments. Like, we brought back the banquet, we brought back the award ceremony, so that everyone is able to get their name up in the spotlight when they win and be able to showcase themselves, and people know who they are. There are a lot of new faces every year, and so now they're able to put faces to names up there up on stage, and you're able to get your trophy and kind of get your moment in the spotlight, so to speak. We are going to make sure that all of our sponsors get thanked. Dan Huntington and Chase, I mean, they do an amazing job as auctioneer. I just love them. I try to follow them around at sales because they always make it a good time. And they do an amazing job at thanking all of their sponsors, and all the ways during the fraternity, the Calcutta, and the Horn Showcase. They make sure that everyone gets announced and that everyone knows who's sponsoring what, and so that we know who to thank for each of those. So they do an amazing job. I can't wait to see them again. And this sale, I mean, it should be good. We've got, a really good catalog. We've got, a reasonable number of fraternity entries. And the satellites all seem to be, looking up as far as, horn measuring on satellite locations. So I think it should be great.
Awesome. My last question for you all is, for those people that are coming from out of town, which there's going to be a lot of people from out of town. Is there anything that you can suggest, whether it's, restaurants, if they're going to, come in a day early, staying a day later, things that they could do, anything that you could suggest, I guess.
Hey, this is in Longhorn terms, Wichita Falls, Texas is almost my backyard. I mean, literally, I live up I-44 in just south of Oklahoma City. Let me throw my best effort at that Wichita Falls question. It's a great town, first of all. Let me just say that, and you know, the restaurant scene, it's a little spread out, quite frankly, and you may want to consult Dr. Google or whatever. But every restaurant I've eaten down there has been fabulous, particularly some of the Mexican food. You know, if you're coming in and out of town and you're a fan of Mexican food, I've eaten lunch down there several times and been a big fan of that. They've also got some stick to your ribs kind of old fashioned, whatever you want to call it, places that are really, really good as well, particularly near the venue. I would say that we don't have the I don't know. We may not have downtown Fort Worth, Stockyard kind of area around the corner from the venue, or some big casino or whatever. But I think it's going to be a great event, and particularly Wichita Falls. It's a neat town, and if you would indulge me, I'm going to give you a little bit of history of Wichita Falls. Do you mind?
No, go ahead.
Like most good Texas towns, it was started with a poker game, and in 1837, somebody won the land that is now Wichita Falls in a poker game, and his descendants basically found out much later. And they actually had the town plotted in 1876. So how cool is that? 1876 is basically when Wichita Falls started. It's a bit of a railroad town. The railroad came through in 1882. So you'll see that when you pull into town. It still remains a bit of a railroad town, a transportation hub, or however you want to put it. And like most good Texas towns, it had an oil boom. And that came in the early 1900s, 1913 or so. Shepherd Air Force Base it moved into town right after, I should say right during World War II, in 1941. But if you have, if you're looking for something to do, you can Google Wichita Falls and really come up with. Again, here I go endorsing Dr. Google, but literally, if you look at their visitor center and that kind of thing, you can come up with a lot to do, and may not be, like I said, the nightlife of Las Vegas, but it's a great event. And I did field a question from one of our members and consigners about RV hookups, and I know that we have a limited number of RV hookups at the site. So if you're planning on using one, please get there early. And it is first come, first serve for RV hookups. So, and again, I think it's, I don't know that they have a dump site there for RVs, but I know that they do have electrical hookups. So please, if you're gonna, if that's part of your plan, make sure you get there early, and we'll do the best we can for you. Thanks for listening.
Well, thanks for taking a little bit of time out of your days to talk with us about the Horn Showcase. And we will see you both October 12th. So in just a few days.
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good seeing you, Natalie.
See you, Nick.